Okay, we're back from a short break, and we'll have a little levity here. And here was a question posed by a viewer, and perhaps I'll answer it, but somebody wants to know if we will arm wrestle during this visit.
Arm wrestle?
Yeah, arm wrestle, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to break your wrist and have you end up at the emergency room here.
I certainly don't want to be made look like a fool on video myself, so I think I'm just going to pass on that opportunity.
All right, okay. And then another viewer along the same line, but I think he's serious, wants to know if you are going to come up and publish a cookbook because you are a master at the grill.
I don't know about a master. I like to consider myself somebody that's always learning. And but I'll start off by saying that we have talked about making a cookbook. Abby has an idea for writing a cookbook with the help of me and some of the family. But she's got an idea for a cookbook. We haven't implemented it yet. But we do want to do a cookbook. But it's going to be a cookbook when we make it based on things that we make, things that I cook on the grill or in the cast iron Dutch ovens, camp cooking, things like that. We even want to throw in family recipes, like all of our family contribute a recipe that they like to make that they want to share in the cookbook. So we do have plans for one. It's just not written yet.
Isn't that funny? Because I did not know any of that. I'm just reading a question, and this same person wants to make sure that you include a good recipe for jambalaya.
For jambalaya, well, we can handle that too. But like I said, though, at the beginning, is cooking for me, I like to consider it honestly like a hobby. I like to learn new things, and cooking isn't something that I've done my whole life, but I've been cooking on the grill and smoking for about 20 years now, starting from not knowing anything about it, just figuring it out as I go, and then learning, just like anything. The more you do it, the more you learn. I read books to kind of get me to where I'm at, and so I'm always looking at recipes, wanting to just learn how to make something that I've never made before. So
you people out there have something to look forward to, and so do I, although tonight, Adam's going to make hamburgers for me here at my house, I hope. I'm going to turn the grilling over to him because I'd be ashamed to do it in front of him.
I'll certainly grill you a hamburger. That's not a problem.
So here's a question that I might answer as well as Adam, but someone wants to know, what advice do you have for someone who would like to start out with the Machine Shop channel on YouTube? It would be a tough thing to start at this point. What do you think?
I think it is. I have to look at that and say it is pretty difficult to start a channel, it seems like these days,
really
or
does.
a successful channel. Successful meaning most people want a lot of views, a lot of subscribers, a large audience out there. But I always tell everybody the same thing is, be yourself. Don't try to be a character or persona that you're not. So just act natural.
Good advice.
Talk natural, and try to present useful information and material that people are going to enjoy. Now, everybody has a knack for doing things differently on YouTube or presenting their videos. I'm known for doing long run videos, and that's just how I've always done it. I had people tell me at the beginning that you'll never survive on YouTube with 30 and 40 and 50-minute videos, but I think I've kind of proven that wrong. My audience is used to long-run videos, but that may not be for everybody. So if you're going to try to start a channel, I think if you have interesting machine shop footage to share, I think there's a lot of people out there wanting to watch it. So if you can kind of stick to, I try to be helpful and informative with my videos. I'm trying to teach the audience what it is that I'm doing or how I'm thinking, what tools I'm using. That's always helpful, I believe, but I think if you can show a little bit more information besides just flashiness, this is what I'm doing, and you fast forward through a video and this is what I've done. I mean, there's people that want to see that, but I think if you can try to help your audience out and be entertaining and educational, I think that's maybe that's a recipe for a good channel.
I agree, but I will have this caveat that it's just very difficult to get started. You can put a video on that you think is real good,
Yep.
and you get 40 people to watch it because of all the algorithms and all of that, and I don't understand that myself.
Yeah.
Because my channel is on a little bit of a decline. I don't know what to do about it. I know they talk about fancy thumbnails and clickbait and all that, and I object to that. I think it's dishonest, some of the clickbait that they use.
It is, and I try to not ever use clickbait thumbnails. I try to use a thumbnail that represents exactly what you're going to see in that video. So clickbait videos actually annoy me quite a bit.
Me too. I usually do not watch them.
Yeah, so don't do clickbait stuff. Get a good picture. I use my iPhone for all my photos, and get used to zooming in and framing a shot, getting good lighting, and get good photos, detailed photos of what you're doing. I try to include that because most of my videos are filmed with GoPro, which don't show a lot of detail. So I try to get in there close with the iPhone to show that detail, which also helps with a good thumbnail.
Yeah, that's more or less the way I do it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is probably not a good question to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Because you're a young man, but somebody asked, what's on your bucket list? So you've done a lot of things already. Is there one single thing that you and Abby would like to do together?
That's a great question. Bucket list. I know what's on Abby's mind. It's has to do with more travel. Europe. There she goes. So bucket list. Definitely travel. I want to see Europe. I want to see Australia. I want to see Germany and those kinds of countries there. I would even like to go to an Asian country, like, I don't know, Japan maybe or something. So I would consider those to be bucket list items. Bucket list items for home or for the shop, I'm not really. No, I just want to. I want to have a nice machine shop. You know, that's kind of my goal.
There you go.
My goal once we move to the property and we build another shop that's mine, I want that to be a nice, big, well-equipped machine shop.
I think everyone should have goals and objectives, men and women, and that should start as a young person. Things that you're trying to achieve during your, and I don't mean trivial things, I mean important things. Now here's one thing I wanted to touch on. When I was young, perhaps 12 years old, I often traveled with my dad on a Saturday morning. He'd go around town and pay bills and talk to people and things like that. He was fairly well known in the community. And by the way, I'll throw this in just for a laugh. That's where I got my sex education. From the nudie calendars that were on the walls of the Jimmy's Motor rebuilding and so on. So that's about the only education I ever had. But some of these people that were running these small shops were my dad's former students. So he'd stop in to check them. And I then would get home and I would hear him tell my mother he's never going to make it in that shop because he's a great machinist. Knows everything you could ever know about machining and building things, but he's not a businessman. So my dad would say that really a businessman would be better equipped to start a machine shop and had a better chance of success than a seasoned veteran machinist. What are your thoughts on that, Adam?
I think there's actually a lot of truth to that just because you're a top quality machinist doesn't mean that you're going to be a great manager or managing a business. And believe me, I think about this all the time for myself. You know, am I doing what I need to do to manage my business right? But I don't think that everybody that's running a machine is out for running a business, though. I mean, I think, and that's where there was that book I was reading. There's the mechanic. There's the owner, there's the manager. Everybody has a job there, and I think people that can run a machine shop and run the office too, and keep everything right. Kudos to them for that, because it's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's a very difficult thing to do. It's a lot of time. There's a lot of time involved there. So I personally would rather be out in the shop making parts on the machines or making content, doing fun things.
Me too.
And somebody else helping me with the books and other things like that.
You're absolutely right. So the next person asked, how much time do you spend in a typical day making videos, making content? Do you work on it virtually every day? I'd say I do almost every day. There's something that I do in regards to content.
Right. Yeah, most days that I'm working and filming, and there's periods of time where I go through several days of working and filming, but I'm not necessarily editing at that point. And so these days I'll be busy. Sometimes I'll start at 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I try to finish what I'm doing usually around 5, maybe 6 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm done. You know, my brain's had it. I'm tired of fussing with that camera. You know, I'm tired of with all those things. I just want to relax. So I usually go, you know, what would be considered like a half day. You know, working, but then what I'll do is I'll take a day or two here or there each week, and I'll dedicate it a whole day. I get up in the morning and I start editing videos, and I'll edit videos all day long until I'm just sick of it. You know, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm tired of it. I'm ready to get up and go light the grill, have a cold beer, you know, and cook some barbecue. So that's kind of how I work a lot of my work and videos and editing with what I do.
Okay, so you do the editing rather than Abby, because there are several people that were thinking that Abby was doing all the behind the screen work. But
she's back there shaking her head. No, I still do all of the editing.
Okay.
I do all the editing, and I do the editing for Abom Adventures as well. But Abby has shown interest in stepping in and learning how to do video editing for Abom Adventures.
I've been trying to get my wife to do that, because in my mind I was thinking that Abby does all of that. Why, Jeanette, why can't you do what Abby does? But that's a little fantasy, I guess, that I had made up in my own mind.
Well, I'm doing all the editing. I'm always encouraging her. I'm like, if you want to start doing some editing, then you go right ahead and do it. But she is very supportive and very helpful. Anytime we're filming, we're traveling, doing things like this right here. When we go to IMTS, she's going to be very helpful and try to get video as well. She does a lot of photography for us, stuff for Instagram, and especially the graphic arts. You know, she's developing intro cards and outro cards and things like that. So she does help, and she has a big interest in it. And I know she wants to kind of keep pushing forward and trying to do more of the, I guess, the social media side of things for the Abom Adventures and abom79 too.
Good answer.
And I like to go and travel and just kind of enjoy myself, because I was never able to do that before until now.
Yes,
and
a lot of freedom now.
Me and Abby can travel and see this country, and I never got to do that before I met Abby. So it's important to me that we get to take a little bit of time and dedicate that for traveling and going to new places and seeing new places and experiencing new areas of the country, you know, throughout the year. So it's something that we enjoy to do.
You know, when I'm in a motel, after about a week, I have a lot of anxiety. I bring all kinds of books and magazines, technical things, and I'm reading that, and I'm looking at YouTube videos on my tablet, and I get to a point where I just can't wait to get home. So
yeah.
I think that's probably true with a lot of people when they travel.
I will agree to that. If you're traveling, you're stuck in a hotel room, yeah, there's no place like home. Yeah. But that's one of the benefits of us having an RV, a travel trailers, because we have all of those comforts from home with us in a travel trailer. And that's one of the reasons why you own a travel trailer, is because you have your bed, you have your clothes for all seasons, just like this trip. It's going to end up getting cold. You know, you have your food, everything that you're comfortable with. So for us, it's not so much that we're ready to get home. It's really about the drive. Once we're all the way up here, it's like, man, we got to drive all the way back home, and that's what I dread right there.
I think we all do. We'd like to fly back home. And, yeah. Well, let me get back to the question now about your other property. Most people know that you bought a few acres, I'm not sure just how much, out in Timbuktu, and you have long-range plans of a new home and a new shop out there. Can you talk about that, or is that too personal?
No, I'll talk about that because that's something that we're working on, and it's unfortunately, it's taken a lot longer than we expected it to, but you know, it's just the way the world is today. So we bought 10 acres of land, and it's really not far out from the town at all. It's from where we live, it's only 20 minutes away. Oh. So it's still close to the city. Mm-hmm. Abby loved that because we can go down the street and you have grocery stores, you have restaurants, you know, but it's very peaceful out there because it's at the end of a road. There's no through traffic, and the way that our property is laid out, there's property around us that the state owns that will never be developed on. So,
wonderful. So
it's going to be private, we hope, for most of our life. So what we wanted to do was build a barn-dominium. We love that style. And so we found a builder that we like, and we found an architect. And right now we've been working with, for the past several months, we've been working with the architect on helping us design it because, you know, it has to be professionally done for the city. So architect's helping us design the house, and right now we're waiting on the builder that we're working with to look at it to kind of give us some idea on the cost of it, you know, and also so that they can make sure that it's structurally designed the way it should be. So we're still at that point right there where we're trying to get the builder to let us know that this is okay and you can finish designing it the way you want and give us a price on it. And we're just kind of waiting on them. So the plan is to build the house. Once we get all that done, go ahead and start building our house. I already have 2 shops now. I have the home shop and I have the new shop. So we're ready for our new home, and we're ready for some peace and quiet because I've been living there next to that noisy highway for almost my whole life. We want to get our house built, move out there, get settled into our new house and enjoy that. I've got my new shop. I'm going to be there for probably a few years. During that time, I'm hoping that we can get to where I can have a new shop built there on the same property, close to the house, and then move out there eventually.
Is that like a 5 or 10 year plan, would you say?
I would say hopefully within 5 years.
Within 5 years,
yeah,
right.
Within 5 years, hopefully.
Well, there's a few people out there, they're kind of nosy, but they want to know, or they want to see some more footage of that beautiful Kubota tractor and side-by-side
Really?
that you got. So you need to shoot some videos of that.
Okay. Well, we bought those because of the property. We're going to use them out there at the property, and we haven't started any development out there yet. And we were just kind of waiting to get through the designing process before we started contracting people to come out and start clearing our driveway, clearing woods for the house is going to be. We didn't want to do all that until we know we're going to be able to build our home, you know. So I was going to use the tractor to help with the property and clearing bushes and trees and stuff like that. And so we just haven't really had any use for it. I guess we bought it a little premature, but we thought we were going to start using it immediately out there on the property. We just haven't done it yet.
We have a dealer about 2 miles from my house here that sells Kubota, so we see a lot of their product around here. And
yeah. All right, so real quick before we go, I did want to give Mr. Pete a gift. So this is the Rode wireless mic like you're wearing right now. It's just that this one that we're using is the Rode Wireless 2. It's 2 mics. This is the first one that I started with. It's 1 mic, so that's the receiver right there, and then this is the mic right there.
I'll be darned.
And then this is the jack or the mic cable that you turn in.
The cable.
Yep. So you plug that in. So I don't know if your camera that you use has a mic jack, but if you have a way to kind of rig this up to where you can use that, I just wanted you to have it.
Oh,
because I'm not using it anymore.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'm going to upgrade my camera. and that will upgrade my audio.
That might help you out with some audio there, because they do work really well, and that does have the little magnet clip on the back
All
too.
right.
So you can do just like you there, just magnet to your shirt.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
No problem. Hopefully you enjoy it.
All right, as we wrap up this little interview, one thing that I wanted to present here to Adam, and I've talked about the Rose Index, and I don't want this to seem like a commercial or anything here, but I know Tim Rosenthal very well, who manufactures these. He's up in Wisconsin, and he makes these in several sizes, and I'm not going to even go into the purpose of them right now because that's covered in other videos. But Tim will be up there at the Machine Tool Show, and he sent here, Adam, several of these for you to use at your leisure in your own shop and show them if you're ever in the mood. They're still all wrapped up, but this is what they look like.
Yeah, okay.
And perhaps you'll run into Tim up there. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And he runs a CNC shop up there in Wisconsin.
Okay.
But,
yeah, I'm not familiar with them either, and I hate to admit that, but hopefully I'll see him. I think he's going to be at the Cherished booth, you said.
He will.
So I'll go by and talk to him and hear from him exactly how I can utilize these guys in our work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, good. And he'll be glad to see that. Oh, and by the way, I do have that shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll conclude here by some people wanted to say to me or ask you, what is your most cherished tool? You know, perhaps it was your dad's or your grandpa's, or if you heard the civil defense siren come on and they said, we have to evacuate the city within 5 minutes. Grab one thing and your wife and you're out of here. What would you grab out of your shop?
Probably one of my micrometers that has my granddad's initials inscribed on it, because my granddad used it in his career. Whenever he retired, my dad ended up with them, and my dad used them, and I've been using them this whole time. So my dad didn't ever put his initials on any of his tools, but my granddad did. So I've got several that's got JAB on there. So if I could only grab one, it would probably be my 2 to 3 Starrett mic that's got my granddad's initials on it.
You know, in my mind, that's what I was thinking you were going to say. I made it up because I have a micrometer that was my dad's, and I have very few things that were my father's. And you know, when you do have that type of thing, you really do cherish it, especially if they scribed that name on.
Oh yeah.
In their hand years ago.
And the other reason too is that, like, I use that mic all the time in my videos for the past 9 years.
Yeah.
If I've used like a 2 to 3 inch mic, it's most likely going to be my granddad's mic that's in there. So it's made a lot of videos.
Well, that concludes our little interview here. It was just wonderful having you and Abby here.
It was wonderful to come and visit you.
And have a great time up in Chicago. I know you'll run into a lot of people up there that want to talk to you and chat with you, and because you are a legend in your own time, and you're still a young man, and you have a lot of years to continue your legendship, if there is such a word. So
I'm just very humbled by all of this. You know, even you asking me to do an interview like this, it's very humbling. I'm just a guy doing machine work. I just happen to share it on YouTube, you know, and that's how I always feel about it. Just trying to share what I do.
Well, I'm a humble man too, and I think I've told the story many times that I was being, critiqued by a principal one time after an evaluation. And in the conversation I said, John, I'm a humble man. And he retorted by saying, well, you have a lot to be humble about. Well, that concludes the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Adam.
I enjoyed it.